Okay. Makes sense.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome once again to Eddie the Academy. Darryl's Top 20, number 4. We're so close to getting to the end.
He's Darryl, I'm Laura.
Oh, yeah. Laura, Darryl, all that good stuff. All right. My number 4 is...
4.
Yeah, I know, we're almost done.
I am.
Is Spinal Tap, one of the greatest comedies ever made, ever. So, some quick facts about it. Excuse me. Spinal Tap, released in 1984. Co-written and directed by Rob Reiner, although co-written is kind of a very loose term for this film. It's his first directorial debut. The film stars the trio, Christopher Guest, Michael Keane, Harry Shearer. They're also the co-writers. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute, what that writing actually means. This was, when this film was released, it was loved by critics. Nobody saw it. It cost $4.8 or $4.9 million. It barely made its money back. And even at that time, $5 million was a decent amount for a movie, but it wasn't like, astronomical. Yeah. And the fact that it barely made its money was not encouraging for a lot of people. However, it has since gone on to cult classic status and has even been deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress and was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. It was $4.5 million, and that was worldwide release. Okay. I don't honestly have a lot to say, and you had mentioned this. The closer we get to number 1, the less there is to actually say about them.
It's often very emotional. Driven. Yeah, you just love it.
This is like 2 billion% my kind of comedy. I get that it's not for everybody, but this just, even watching it last night in preparation for this again, I was laughing out loud so many times. I knew the gag was coming. I knew what the line was going to be. I said it as the line was said, and I still laughed while I was saying it. It just hits me somewhere deep inside that just makes me giggle like a schoolboy. It's just so much fun. This is a film, I think, that if you have ever been a musician or in a band, you definitely benefit more from. However, and I'm going to look to you to help me with this, I do think it does have a universal quality to it.
I love this movie. I have always loved this movie. I think it's incredibly funny. One of the reasons why is because of the satire. It's just a little higher than reality.
Yes.
Like it's not crazy out of this world. It takes reality and it turns it up a half of notch. Just enough to make it like that could be real, but not really. And the same thing with the music in here. It's like the music that they play, it's good music, almost. It's hilarious. The big bottoms or whatever. You got Queen doing Fat Bottom Girls, so it's not that far off. But the language is just a little bit, just a little satirical enough that it's funny.
They play the hyper-sexualized 80s rock star male.
Perfect.
To the extreme. The songs most of them are about sex in some form.
Yes.
They play that overconfident, sexy kind of things. We've got armadillos in our trousers. Like they just play that so incredibly well. Let's talk about the songs for a second, though.
Okay.
They did write all the music.
Yep.
They did perform all of the music.
I love that.
And I had the soundtrack after this movie came out.
Okay.
I had the cassette and everything, and I played it non-stop. I love the songs. I think they are awesome. They are both satirical and real at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And they're all bangers. They're just
decent music.
It really is. The solos are so horrifically bad that they are good.
Yes.
And the different generations that they did, the 60s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s into the 80s, all of the different genre styles they took on was one, identified as that style, but also representative of that and really good as a representation.
Exactly. You've got them doing almost like the Beatles they're dressed up in their cute little suits and they're doing the rah rah rock.
Stop wasting my time.
Exactly. And then it goes to the flower power and the hippie music, and then it goes on to the kind of glam rock or arena rock or however you want to describe it. And they do each of those beautifully. I watch, one of my major obsessions is the TV show Supernatural.
Yep.
And so I was watching a show, one of their episodes, and they show this like crazy decked out van, and literally in the background on the show comes Stonehenge, and they start playing a few riffs off of that. I'm like, that's perfect.
Absolutely.
Because Supernatural was big into its music, and so I'm like, oh man, Spinal Tap, that's ideal.
You mentioned that it's reality but turned up just a
Yeah.
notch.
To 11, one might say.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
So many bands have come out and said, oh no, that happened to us.
Oh yeah.
Like the scene when they're under trying to find the stage and they're completely lost under the stage.
Yeah.
So many bands have come out like, oh no, that happened to us in Cleveland or Toronto or wherever it was. Like we were under there for 20 minutes. We could not find our way out. Absolutely. Yeah. The way that they were able to capture and give you an into the music scene and what it's like to be a rock band, albeit a fading rock band, was really accurate, particularly at that time. And it still holds relevance today for the things that bands try to do.
Yeah.
What is your relevance? That's one of the themes of it. Are we still relevant? They, of course, believe that they are, but the reality that we all see is, no, they're really not, except for Japan.
Well, and again, you can even see that being in Maine. You've got bands you could only go to Boston to see.
Yeah.
And then they would come to the Civic Center. And then they go up to Bangor. And now they're playing in like somewhere in Belfast or Waterville, or some, 50 seat auditorium down here. So
The band dynamics and all of the things that happen that are just, the movie is just gag after gag after gag after gag, and the gags are the plot of the movie to move it forward. And they all work seamlessly. So let's talk about how they did this, which is what Christopher Guest ends up doing for all of the movies he does. All this is we're gonna do a scene, here's the setup for the scene, we need to get from point A to point B. We have written no dialogue, just improv and go. Mm-hmm. So all of this is improv.
Yeah.
And I think during this, later movies with Christopher Guest was much longer. This had like 12 to 15 hours that they had to whittle down to 127 minutes, including the credits. It is a short movie.
It is, and it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Christopher Guest had talked, I think it was Best in Show, had over 200 hours that he had to whittle down into the movie. But to be able to go through and pick up all of those things and make a coherent story and not just have it feel like a Saturday Night Live sketch is amazing to me.
But I also think that is one of the things that we like so much about Rob Reiner.
Yes.
Because again, if you look at our top 10, he holds 4 spots in our combined top 10. Between Harry and Sally, and both of us have Princess Bride, and this is Spinal Tap. And it's not our full list, it's the top 10.
Yeah.
And I think he knows how to do a concise, good, tight movie.
He does, and he knows, we've talked about this with the other films as well as when he's come up for best, of the few times he was nominated for Best Picture. He knows how to keep characters and focus on character story. His kind of movies are never really a plot-driven kind of thing, or they're not like super cool camera tricks or themes or intent. He just focuses on character and does that so well, and he allows you to fall in love with the characters, and by doing so you then fall in love with the story in the movie. It's something he does brilliantly.
I had read, speaking of the improv, so I had read somewhere that, I forget the actress that played Michael McKean's girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
But another actress was supposed to play her, and great actress, and Rob Reiner speaks highly of her, but said she just couldn't improv the way that this one could, and so they had to recast her. But, a fantastic actress, but you have to be able to roll with it. Do
you know the story of how this came to be at all?
Yes, a little bit, but why don't you share?
So they had developed these characters just for themselves, and they would, like, when they would get together, they would just kind of improv and pretend they were these characters.
Yep.
And then they really liked it so much that they did a short that they gave around to people, to their friends, just like as gag things, never released anywhere. And then they had enough material that they put together a 20-minute reel that they then shopped around. And Rob Reiner has famously said, when we were shopping around that reel, people were like, oh, so this is what the movie's going to be like? And he's like, well, yes, but this is the movie.
This is the 20-minute movie. It might be too concise.
And then, like, they couldn't grasp the entirety of what they were trying to do. But yeah, they made a
Yeah.
20-minute reel as these characters and then went and do it.
And you know who he got the money from to get the movie?
I don't.
Norman Lear.
Oh, really?
From All in the Family. Yes, because
Wow.
he was still meathead on All in the
Yeah,
Family,
yeah, yeah.
or that maybe just had ended. And he went shopping to everybody, and no one would give them money, and Norman Lear gave him $3 million of the 4.5
Wow.
to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As a musician, having played in bands, I can relate to so many aspects of this. The interpersonal dynamics. One of my favorite lines in the movie is when they're interviewing Derek Smalls, and he has the two visionaries in the band, and I look at myself more as like lukewarm water. Like, just throwaway lines that give you everything you need, but are hysterically funny. You mentioned this goes to 11, and the deadpan when he's like, "Well, I just make 10 the loudest," and he's like, "But these go to 11."
Yeah.
Like, just the lack of understanding
Yep.
throughout the entire movie. Whether it's intentional or just they're oblivious, and I think it's more they're oblivious, but their oblivious denial to everything that is happening to them and around them just enhances and works. If they were more self-aware, this would not work. It would fall apart.
No, and again, I think you're right, that I think bands at that time were slightly more self-aware, because this is the satire piece of it, but not a ton.
No.
It's fairly realistic with a cherry on top.
My favorite line to illuminate that is the self-denial and lack of self-awareness when they meet one of their former opening acts, and their gig had just been canceled, and they're in the lobby of a Holiday Inn of all places. And like, "Where'd you guys play?" It's like the big mega arena, and it's like, "Wow, you sold it out 2 nights in a row. That's pretty good." And then the guy they walk off, and he's like, "Wanker, just such a wanker." Yeah, they were still booing him while we were on stage. Complete
Not self-aware.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stupid little thing, like there are a ton of cameos throughout
Yes.
this, way too many to mention. Like Dana Carvey's in it. The small little things that just enhance the film overall. The fact that at their launch party for the tour, they have mimes serving the hors d'oeuvres. Mime is money, mime is money. Like, that's just hysterically funny on its surface,
Yeah.
and then they execute it. Like,
And again, Billy Crystal.
Yep.
And Bruno Kirby's in the movie too. So
Yep.
the whole When Harry Met Sally gang comes together. Speaking of cameos, can I just jump in with
Absolutely.
I can't stop with my fun facts, but Bobby Fleckman,
Yep. The nanny.
Yeah, the nanny. Do you know that an episode of The Nanny, she reprised that role?
Oh no, I didn't.
She actually played, because her, like the guy that she worked for was a big Broadway producer, and so she played her coming on, looking just like the nanny, but she was a big record producer, and she played the exact same part.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Everybody is very well cast in this,
Yes.
and they, as you like to say, everybody knew their assignment and what they
Yes.
were supposed to do, how to get from point A to point B. I mean, I would have just loved to have been in the room for a lot of these scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to have been sitting just off to the side, not knowing what the gag was going to be, when Rob Reiner's character, the director, is interviewing Nigel as he's playing this beautiful piece on the piano. It's like it's in the key of D minor or D major, the saddest of all keys. And he plays this nice, beautiful little piece. He's like, "Oh, what's the name of that?" "Oh, like My Love Pump." Like, I don't think I could have held it in at
It's
moments
funny.
like that. It's just
very funny.
It's line after line after line and gag after gag after gag. And like we've talked about with Monty Python, they all work. They're not doing the Monty Python winking at the
No.
audience.
Yeah.
They're taking it very seriously. They're
Yeah.
presenting it as very serious, but it is just constant gag after gag, far too many to name. And if there had been moments in this where the gags didn't work, so it was a bit of a lull, then this movie I don't think would be as good as it is. But because the steady pace of gags, whether they're visual gags, verbal gags, it is constant from the moment you start till the moment you end.
Yeah.
And again, if there had been a lag at any period of time, this movie would not be as good. But they are all gold.
I agree, and I think the thing that this movie does, it obviously is just a funny movie, it does a great job. It launches Rob Reiner as
Yep.
a director.
Yep.
I would say it launches the whole mockumentary,
Absolutely.
you know, Christopher Guest kind of type of movie, which then actually launched the TV shows of The Office.
Yep.
And, you know, I know they have the UK version, but I think that's why it was somewhat popular. We were ready for it. The Office, Modern Family, Parks and Rec, all of them are talking to, you know, supposed filmmakers. And the other thing I think it did is I think it relaunched Michael McKean's career. Because he's had a really great comedic and dramatic career, but he was Lenny. He was Lenny from Laverne and Shirley. No one knew him as anything different.
Yep.
And I think this helped him break out of that and stopped him from getting stereotyped.
Out of the three of them, or the four of them, including Rob Reiner, Harry Shearer is by far the lesser known.
Yep.
But he has been the voice of this on The Simpsons
yeah.
since day one.
He's the lesser known, but he's probably the richest of all of them.
Yes. Like, the voice actors on The Simpsons
Yes.
are doing very well for themselves.
I think so,
yeah. Just their chemistry overall together. I mean, one, they've been doing this as gags for themselves for years, so they could very easily inhabit the characters. But to watch them, I've seen them do it in interviews where, like, it starts out with an interview with just the three of them and they're just themselves talking.
Yeah.
And then you can slowly, like, one will say something and then you watch the other two just slip into their
They
characters.
just morph, yeah.
Running gags that keep everything alive, and like the callbacks as well, like the entire history of the drummers and what happens to the drummers.
Oh, I love
Like
that.
it was someone else's vomit. You can't really dust for vomit. It was a green globule on the thing, and then of course the drummer explodes and they replace him with a new one.
Yep.
Like just those running gags throughout that do call back and do have payoffs. Again, you just can't speak high enough about it.
The vomit scene, this is not a negative, but when they're talking about vomit, well, it was someone else's vomit. That's the first time, and maybe one of the only times when you can really see the improv.
Yeah,
And you
it is.
know
Yeah, you're right.
that somebody came up with that line in the moment.
Yes.
And it was funny and it was perfect and it makes you laugh, and you wonder how are they not cracking up. That was, and again, it's not a negative, but that is one of the few times where you can actually see the improv happening.
Yeah, during that line, if you look,
Yeah.
Christopher Guest actually just a quick smile comes over his, and then he like
Yeah,
gets right back
pulls it
in the
right
character.
back,
And I have not purposely watched them because I need to spend time with it. There's an hour and 20 minutes of outtakes.
Oh, that must be amazing.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to sitting down and just watching
Yeah.
them. Like the things that didn't make it, like, is it because of the execution or did they go just a little too far for an audience?
I wonder.
audience?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that's worth it.
Okay.
Isn't the sequel coming out soon?
This year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Later
Okay.
this summer, early fall. Which the premise of that is they are themselves now, so they're in their late 60s, 70s.
Perfect.
They're playing one final show and then they're going to say goodbye. So all of the things that will go wrong with that,
Oh,
essentially.
it's a perfect premise.
They did make a follow-up movie,
Oh, I didn't think I knew that.
Break Like the Wind. It bombed and was
Break Like the
not
Wind.
good.
Okay.
Not good.
I did not know that, nor have I ever heard of it.
Yeah,
so
the
that makes sense.
music wasn't as good.
Okay.
The movie definitely wasn't. This also, as you mentioned, did launch Christopher Guest doing
Yes.
his thing, taking this particular style and changing it to fit different stories. Best in Show,
Yeah.
The Mighty Wind, I think was
Yep.
one of them. There's
Waiting for
another-
Guffman.
Waiting for
Yep.
Guffman. So, yes, this was a launching point for a lot, but it all starts with just the creation of these gags that just go all the way through and are relatable and identifiable, even if you're not a musician.
Exactly, and as not a musician, I also grew up with this type of music, and so I know these people.
Yes.
You know, either know them from being in bands or know them from liking these kinds of bands. So yeah, this is one where there's no bar to entry.
No.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm not
Great choice, yeah.
not a lot to say, but it's just so much fun. If you've never seen Spinal Tap, seriously, go watch it tonight. Do yourself a favor.
It's worth it, it's great.
See ya!
Bye.